Welcome to the Sandbox Podcast, where we talk real business, real stories, and the strategy behind the scenes. I'm your host, Sam, and today we're diving into a topic that feels more relevant than ever, the human side of digital marketing. With us today is someone who lives and breathes this topic, Kelly Letourneau of Oklahoma Marketing, a digital marketing strategist with a passion for branding, storytelling, and creating experiences that resonate. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Let's kick things off with the big idea, humanization in digital marketing. What does that mean to you?
So we've fallen into this idea that digital marketing is, how do I put this, very one-sided. So we're starting to see feeds that are sell, right? It looks like a magazine. It's 20% off, or buy this, get one free. And we are done being sold to. Mm-hmm. And what we are finding is the trend is moving back to that human connection that we did have when we were going to brick and mortars and we were out and about doing our shopping. We're not there now, right? Very online focused.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing is that the brands that are the most successful are the ones that are humanizing their platforms and humanizing their brand. So it's about building the relationship with your potential customer by showing the back end of your business or the behind the scenes or even your face. And it is all about really making that human connection rather than just buy from me because I solve your problem. Well, 100 people could solve your problem. Why am I going to buy from you in particular?
Yeah.
And I'm only going to know that and buy from you if I know who you are. And I'm only going to know who you are if you show me who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you think that shift is happening now?
Well, again, so we've been isolated from COVID. The trend of online digital marketing and online purchasing has made it so easy and so convenient that people are just at home clicking away. And now we're sort of done. We're sort of done being sold to, right? We're done just being a commodity and just, having businesses take the easy way out of, well, I'll just put it up and they'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Because that's what had been happening. And so now that shift for the consumer is, I want to know and like and trust you, and I want to know what your values are, and I want to know what your morals are, and I want to know what you stand behind as a business and as a brand. And I'm going to make my buyer decision based on that. So we're making it harder for the business in a really real way, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because the business, it's about, and again, it is about that relationship of, you need to tell me who you are before I buy from you.
Exactly. And a lot of people are thinking that a brand is just like your logo and your fonts or something like that, but it's really like the feeling behind.
Well, exactly. And it's not your colors and that people who are starting new businesses, that's what they run to first, right? They run to all the fun stuff, and they run to, what is my logo going to look like, and what is my Instagram page going to look like, what are my colors going to look like? And they fail to take into consideration, which is the most important thing, which is the customer experience.
Yeah.
That is what is going to build your brand. So if I could give a piece of advice to anybody starting a business, start with your customer experience first. What are the words that you want them to use when they are describing you in a word of mouth referral, right? Think about that. What do you want them to say? Those are your brand value words, right? We go through that exercise.
Yeah.
I want to be known for being professional, for being fun, for being luxury, whatever the brand words are. And then structure the customer experience based on those words. And then you've got a brand that is going to thrive and succeed, right? So if the customer says, I work with this widget producer because they're fabulous, they're so professional, they're so luxurious, I just feel amazing when I'm communicating with them. Well, there's your brand, right?
Yeah.
Spoken. And it is really about, when you're building a brand, you have to think about every step. So every interaction you have, and not just with a potential client or a current client. It's how you conduct yourself in the world, how you move around and experience and every interaction someone has with you in a grocery store, for heaven's sakes, right? If they bump into you in a grocery store and they happen to know you, like that, it's that interaction. Are you staying consistent with the moral and values and brand words that you've established? Are you carrying them around in your everyday life? Yeah. And again, that goes back to building relationships. It's very connected.
So how do you keep that vibe consistent across all of your platforms, like your website and socials and everything like that?
Your brand, say, is fun, for an example, right? That's one of the words you're using.
Yeah.
Well, your emails need to be fun, right? The personalization of it needs to be fun. Your website needs to be fun. There's gamification you can use, right? If the brand is fun. If it's luxury, well, what does your email and website look like to make it luxury? When I land on your website, is that the word I am going to think of as soon as I land on that website from a customer point of view, right? So really, really take your time in finding out those brand words and utilize them across all the platforms in different ways. Is your message fun? Is your language fun? Are the buttons fun? Right? It really comes down to what the consumer is going to experience.
Yeah. And customer service plays into a big part of your marketing strategy as well, too, right? Like it doesn't just...
100%. Yeah. They, in terms of the customer service, so from onboarding, are they going to feel special, right? Is it going to be fun, the onboarding? How are you going to make it fun? And again, I go back to that word just as an example, but if one of your brand pillars is, I want to be known as fun, well, then the onboarding needs to be, really exciting. And the follow-up and everything it takes to start working with that client, the experience needs to be fun. If it's luxury, again, when you jump on a Zoom call, what are you wearing? What does your background look like? Is the agenda set?
Yeah.
And what language are you using to make the customer feel, ooh, I am in this luxury setting right now?
Yeah.
Right? So, and it needs to stay consistent. So
Yep.
every Zoom meeting is the same. Not that you have to wear the same thing, but your look and outfit is consistent. Your background is the same. The client needs to know what is coming.
Yeah.
Right? Consistency is key, because as soon as the client gets confused, they stop.
Yeah.
Right? A confused mind does nothing. So you really want to make sure that it is consistent by keeping everything the same.
Yeah. So how do you create more human touch points in the customer experience?
Personalization is key. So I don't care if you're automating it or you're manually typing emails or sending out newsletters. Personalization is the key. And if you do it really well, customers don't know that it's automated. Chatbots are the same. You need to do that really well and take your time to set up those platforms. But personalization in terms of speaking directly to the client is key. The other thing that we talk about in personalization, and this is mainly for prospects or people who are on your mailing list that are taking some time to make that final decision or final purchase. Personalization isn't just, hi, first name.
Yeah.
Right? It goes beyond the first name. That is super important. Make sure you use it. Make sure you set it up properly, because there is nothing worse than getting, hi, at first name, right? That is an immediate delete.
We've all had that.
Yes, we've all had those, and I feel for those people, because you know that they're just cringing when they get that email. Oh my goodness. But beyond that, and this is really just for newsletters and email communications, but there's ways you can segment emails, right? Based on buyer behavior, based on interests and likes. It's going out and taking the time to find out what your consumer likes. And it could be a survey, but it really is investigating, what are they doing? Where are their eyeballs? What are they looking at? What are they Googling? And really segmenting your emails to make it super personal to them.
Yeah. What are some brand examples that you've seen doing this really well?
Yeah. Okay, so the one that I always go to is Duolingo.
Yeah.
Duolingo, I use it. I'm learning Spanish and touching back up on my French.
Nice.
Yeah, so I use it every day. And I have noticed that part of their branding, you know, the colors, the lime green, the little owl and all the bear and the annoyed girl, and right, it's very cartoony, it's very fun. Their messaging to you in emails is very, very personal, right? And it's cheeky at some points, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know, and, you know, Kelly, practice isn't going to happen itself, or whatever those push notifications are.
Yeah.
They've really, really made it fun to do. They've gamified it so that you get these, whatever, like these coins that you can buy things or add extra lives, or so they've really made it something that you continue to do, and you become quite, it becomes something that's fun.
Yeah.
And then they sell you on music, and then they sell you on a family plan, right? Then they sell you all these upsells that, you know, these little drip campaigns that say, you know, we still have, let's try that family, or you've won a family trial for 7 days.
Yeah.
Right? So they've learned how to personalize it. They've learned how to gamify it. They've learned how to then upsell you.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's happening.
Well, and the amount of memes that are out there now that people have created about them too, like,
absolutely,
it's amazing.
Right? And then there's your user-generated content,
yeah.
right? They're selling the app.
Yeah.
For you, right? So I will happily pay my $100 a year for many years now.
Exactly.
And you know, it's not even something I think about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's hit our listeners with a few rapid fire takeaways today.
Gosh. Okay. Okay.
What is one tip for humanizing your marketing?
Personalization. Yeah. I mean, I know I say it. I've said it throughout this entire interview, but it is personalization. But I will also say, be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Be really vulnerable on your socials. Do not be afraid that. And sorry, this isn't rapid, but. Do not be afraid to be imperfect. Gone are the days of perfect hair, you know, makeup, filters. Gone are those days.
Yeah.
Show me the nitty-gritty of behind the scenes.
What's one way to bring more heart into your brand?
What I'm finding now is, unfortunately, what's happening is somebody will take a stance on something. Like say I'm a nutritionist, and I have an opinion on whatever dairy, let's say.
Yeah.
Who cares, right? Like I have an opinion on something. And months go by and I find an article or I do a bunch of more research and I realize, oh, my stance on dairy, I may have changed my mind. That's okay. It is okay to change your mind on something and, you know, back it up with whatever you have. But I find that it is far too often people are taking stances, and that's okay to take a stance.
Yeah.
And then sort of sticking with them because they don't want to be seen as wrong. But it's not that you're wrong, you're just learning.
Exactly.
Right? We're just learning new things, and that's totally okay.
And then one customer service habit that makes a difference.
Oh, be responsive.
Yeah.
Be responsive. And, you know, if it's a DM, an email, and I will tell you, Google reviews, if they are negative, respond. Respond if they're positive. More importantly, respond if they're negative.
Exactly.
There is the average consumer will go to Google, will go to look at reviews before they make a decision, for sure. If there are negatives with responses, the responses, that turns into a positive. It turns into a positive review, right?
Yeah.
Because you've taken accountability. You've addressed the situation. You've told the person how you're going to fix it. In your responses, please tell people how you're going to fix it.
Exactly.
So that when the viewer is looking at Google reviews, everybody make mistakes. We get that.
We're all human.
We're all human. We get it, that not every interaction is going to be perfect. But if you as a business owner are going to take accountability, say, yeah, you know what? We totally messed up here. We get it. This is what we're going to do to fix it. I hope you come see us again. Right? That review now becomes a positive. You've taken action. So the reviewer, or the person who's come to see the Google reviews is going to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They fixed it. We got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's done. So do not be afraid of negative Google reviews. Responding to negative Google reviews is really, really important that you do that.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights with us today. Where can people find you online if they want to keep learning from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us on Instagram at Oklahoma_marketing_, and online at oklahomamedia.ca. Please don't judge us for our website. It is under construction.
That's all right.
That's where you can find us.
So is ours.
Yeah. Yeah, the cobbler's kids has no shoes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
for sure.
Amazing. Well, that's a wrap today on the Sandbox Podcast. Hit the subscribe button and like it. Leave us some comments and send this to someone who's building a brand with heart. See you next time.